Well, there's the sound of some rain. However, I'm not going to record in this room because this is the wet room, the shower room, very echoey. Let's go into the Airbnb proper. But yeah, no proper new episode yet because I haven't done anything because it's still rainy time. But the typhoon I was worried about, it basically affected the southern part of the country and Taipei is the northern part. So it hasn't actually been that bad up here. It's just rain. But that's enough to, I kind of learned walking around, I guess, my Jeju walk, where I was just like, I'm going to go deliberately walk through the rain. And I mean, visually, very pretty. I still remember that day. And I'm like, yeah, that was nice. That was cool. Felt like I was in the Irish cliffs or something, just was really cool. But got all soaking wet. Destroyed my poor boots for a while. It's just not a good idea to go out in the rain. And now additionally, as I chronicled, the polyurethane in my fucking boots is breaking down. So when they get too wet, they smell like ammonia. Definitely a problem. Turn into pee boots. So like today I went outside, it was super overcast, walked around for a bit till it started raining. And then it's like, all right, go supply up again, head the heck home. Don't stay out in this. But I just wanted to mention that I do just get a feeling like even though all I did was walk around my little specific neighborhood today for, probably only an hour or so, a little more than an hour, just didn't do anything, quote unquote. And it just feels good. I mean, it feels good in general that Taipei, like I'm always saying, is very small. Like I took what's the line called? I took the subway to the end of the line near here, just as an experiment the other day, to Luzhou station, Luzhou, where I just got to go a couple stops on the orange line and transfer onto the other branch. It's a little bit awkward, but just to test that out. And it was cool because that was a day where it was late in the day, so I didn't have a ton of time. But there's a bridge right there, and across the bridge is Yinhanglan, which is the mountain I hiked up. I took the red line and I walked across that bridge and then walked through the mountains and then up around to the top of the mountain and had this super amazing view of Taipei. Should I want to go back there, maybe try one of the other peaks or something, I can just go to Luzhou station and it's like still going to be, a bit of a walk. It's going to take a couple hours. But it's like, there's the mountain right there. You can just like key right into that whole walk. Very close to here, very easy to get to. But I didn't even go that far today. Today I did nothing, just my neighborhood. And yeah, it just has this good feeling that I can't really put my finger on. I'm not quite sure what it is about Taipei, where, the best feeling was Japan, of just get up in the morning, go outside, walk around. Wow, Japan. Because, as I chronicled when I was in Japan, it's just in my brain, anime and video games. There's all this stuff, even if I don't truly understand, probably even vaguely understand what Japanese society is really like. My version, my weird pop culture version of Japanese society, it's in there deep. It's been there a long time. So it just feels good to be there and to walk around. And South Korea is just different, where once I figured out what I was doing, once I got out of Seoul, once I got the lay of the land, visually beautiful and functionally still pretty similar, There's transit, there's convenience stores. The landscape is gorgeous, barring pollution days. But I just didn't have this feeling in South Korea. I liked South Korea. I'll be back to South Korea. I'm glad I went to South Korea. But I just didn't have this feeling of hey, I'm just walking around nowhere for no reason, and it just feels good. It didn't feel bad. The closest was Busan. Busan felt pretty good. And that one neighborhood in Jeju where I was, in Segwapo. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm not giving South Korea enough credit, but I just had a feeling today in Taipei that I just feel like is not necessarily the most super common feeling, and I just do feel it a lot of times in Taipei. But I can't really explain it. I'm not totally sure why. It's just the totality of how everything comes together. Yeah, I don't know. That's just all I wanted to say. It's just I didn't do anything today. I just walked around and I was like, I like it. I like how it feels. It feels good. I like being here. It's just good. It just feels good. I think this Airbnb, though, I shouldn't yammer in here for too long. It's noisier than I think it is. I feel like there's like a little high-pitched sound somewhere. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, I see. It's something outside. Yeah, now that I'm by the window. Well, all right, let me just close the door. Close the door to the wet room. That helps a bit. But yeah, the one last thing I wanted to mention is it turns out the Taipei 101, I mean, I'd never heard of that building. I just was walking around and walked right by it. And I was like, whoa, I saw it at night for the first time. And then I just kept seeing that building all over the place. It's my constant arbiter of where I am. You know, I can always figure out where I am in relation to that building. And because Taipei is quite small, pretty much everywhere you go, almost everywhere, there's a very good chance you can see the Taipei 101. But I didn't know anything about it. I just stumbled upon it and I just keep seeing it. But I was watching some little YouTube travel vlog, which actually, it looks like on the East Coast where I went last time, the Queen's Head. There's actually quite a bit of cool stuff on the East Coast. You know, there's like shoreline walks along boardwalks near the coastline that are maybe only like an hour-long walk, but they seem really nice. But unfortunately, the bus ride to get there is like a little over 2 hours each way. It is actually... The one time Taipei does feel big. If you go as far as you can to the East Coast, it's actually quite a trek. I don't know if I'm going to make it, because 2 hours each way just for like an hour exploration in the middle, that's rough. That feels like the kind of thing next time I'm in Taipei, I'm going to take a look at getting an Airbnb over by the East Coast, because then I could just dawdle around over there and explore, and it'd be very easy. I could have done that this time, but I'm glad I stayed here. This Airbnb is so good. I'm glad that I'm just staying here at this one. But next time, that could be cool. The East Coast definitely has some beautiful stuff, but it's quite the bus ride to get there. But anyway, this random travel person I was watching had a little bit about the Taipei 101 and talking about it. And it turns out, it's no coincidence that I keep seeing that building. Between, I think they said it was 2004 and 2010, a somewhat brief span, but for a while it was the tallest building in the world. It's like, holy shit, I didn't realize that. Wow. And I guess it's because I was thinking in the sense of towers, you know. I lived in Toronto for years, the CN Tower. One of my little obsessions in Japan was the sky tree, you know. Where's the sky tree? Walk to the sky tree. So obviously buildings and towers, two different things. So the Taipei 101 is a lot smaller than these towers. But it was, not that long ago, the biggest building in the world. I don't totally know what that means. Obviously the Burj Khalifa just destroyed everything else and made everything else tiny, you know? It's like twice as big as the next tallest building or something. It's insane. But that's pretty cool. The Taipei 101 is actually a lot more notable than I realized. And because this is tiny island land, it's got all these cool things similar to what the Skytree has, where it will sway and shake, you know, just so when there's an earthquake, it's not going to fall over. Pretty cool. It's just a neater building than I realized, and it's much bigger than I realized, you know, because like, yeah, sure, I've seen it a zillion times, and everywhere I go, I always coincidentally can see the Taipei 101, but it just never really occurred to me that like, oh yeah, that must mean that it's fucking big. But it is, it's real big. So unfortunately though, even once this typhoon thing passes, we're back to the classic, you know, the weather. The weather, obviously, it's very variable. It changes all the time. But as it stands, they're basically saying rain every day next week. Maybe one day without it, but just get ready for tons of rain. I've never used before the hourly weather report in my life. I don't think I've ever even clicked that tab ever on a weather website until I got to Taipei, and now I do it every day. Like today, it was like, it's not raining right now, but it's probably going to start raining around 5 o'clock. But right now it's only 4 o'clock, so it actually started raining around 3:30. But you know, it's like, you know, it's not that useful to get that granular about the weather, or to even necessarily take a macro view of the weather. But yeah, hourly weather, I've never cared before. I don't know, I guess it's now at this point I have less than a month left. Got like 20 days left. It would be silly to just go buy temporary footwear But maybe at the start of when I got here, like back home, I had just the straight up rain boots, the big galoshes, and they're just handy to have. When it rains, you can actually go outside and do stuff. You can tromp through the woods and stuff. And yeah, that's what you need in Taipei. I mean, I think the locals generally go for, Croc type shoes when they're just walking around town or sandals, because it's fucking raining all the goddamn time. For my purposes, for hiking around up through trees and woods and stuff, yeah, I could use some rubber boots, man. I could use some wellies. I need a rubber boot rental store. I just need to wrap fucking garbage bags around my goddamn feet. But anyway, yeah, like I said, no proper adventure yet. I don't know something will happen, but I don't know what. Got a lot of rain ahead of me, so I just wanted to do a wee bit of, the Taipei 101, a more notable building than I thought. And just doesn't matter if I'm not doing anything. Doesn't matter if I'm a little trapped. Doesn't matter if I'm reined in. Just walking around my neighborhood for an hour feels good. Just feels good, man. Feels good. All right. I know you're listening to this in the future, but I presume rain is still a thing, so stay dry out there. All right, it seems the typhoon is past. It hit mainly on the south, so me being in the north, no problem. Just a lot of rain, but nothing seemed too bad. But then still a bunch of rain announced for the upcoming week. Just rain day after day. Maybe not all day, but enough possibility of precipitation that when you look at the next week, it's just rain. Not today, though. Today's a Sunday, and it is fucking beautiful out. Super gorgeous. So I was like, all right, let's get my ass moving today. Soak this in while I can. So I considered going to Luzhou Station at the northern end of the Orange Line, because you can walk from there toward Yinghanlin, which was just cool when I was there, and there's other peaks and stuff. Just the feeling of walking toward that mountain felt cool. So that's a possibility, but it is still quite a journey to get there. And it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. I don't know that maybe. But then I remembered, I had this other idea where whenever I would look at the Taipei 101 from a distance, like when I was down at Xindian Station, there was this cool looking mountain over to the side of the Taipei 101. And I was like, what is this? How do I get there? So I'm not totally sure if this is it, but there's a thing called Elephant Peak that I don't know if I'll make it there specifically today, but it seems like there's a bunch of hiking stuff around here. Xiangshan Park is where I'm at, by Xiangshan Station on the Red Line. But the stop before this is the Taipei 101 stop. So I was like, let me go take a gander. Let me go take a gander at the Taipei 101. So I'm only one subway stop away. It's right there. I did look up the other day like a diagram of biggest buildings in the world, because apparently this was one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest, till around 2010. And it is a little weird because there's always these, sticky up poles, antenna looking things on the top of these towers and buildings that count toward the height, but I don't know that they should. It definitely adds a bit to the top that doesn't really feel like a proper part of the building. But basically it's, the Burj Khalifa is insane. It's like if you took a Star Destroyer and put it on its side. It's so much bigger than everything else. And then all the other big buildings are, roughly this size. This one, the Taipei 101, I think a good example is the New World Trade Center in New York. It's about that size. Touch tinier, maybe. But anyway, here's where I'm going to be a bit of a dick. Now I'm standing right here, perfect view, against the beautiful blue sky. A couple of nice fluffy clouds drifting by. I'm as close to the Taipei 101 as you can get without distorting it. You know, if you're right under it and you look up, you can't tell shit. This is like a block away. Perfect. And it's just not that big. You know, I mean, obviously it is big. You can see it from all over the place. It's very cool, very beautiful building. But as far as at one time the biggest building in the world, it's not that big. I don't know. It's all right. I don't know. I guess it's just like because towers tend to be bigger than buildings. Some of the towers are really a bit like, I don't know what the right word is. The obnoxious word vertiginous comes to mind. But like they make you feel kind of dizzy. They make you feel weird. They're just like, whoa, that thing is so big. This thing's not big like that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just, you know, I'm learning about building sizes because now I'm imagining if the Burj Khalifa was here, it's not double this, you know, it's like 1.5 the size. And it's like, yeah, that would be pretty big. That's probably fairly impressive to see. But even that, I'm like, yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's just the scale of human architecture. There's only so much you can do. This shit just ain't that fucking big, man. It's just not. It's fine. You know, it's all right. It's pretty big, I guess. Anyway, thought I'd just start the day off with that. I don't know, I was just surprised, I guess. Because, you know, it's just like, oh, that's a cool building. That thing's a neat landmark. I guess it's because of the accolade. You know, I didn't know about that. I didn't know it was the biggest building in the world. It just changes your mind when you hear biggest. The biggest. It's like, really? That's the biggest? 15 years ago, that was the biggest building in the world? I'm a little let down. If that's the biggest, the Empire State Building must have been tiny. I saw the Empire State Building in 2009, but I don't really remember. It had a lot of scaffolding around it at the time, and I didn't get to see it from a proper distance. I was right under it, so I don't know. But I don't know. I guess maybe it's just dumb to care about the biggest. I mean, ask Saudi Arabia about that. What a waste of time. Who gives a shit? Oh, I got the biggest building and the plumbing doesn't work. We have to take the poop out in trucks. Who gives a fuck? Don't worry about it. Maybe worry about your goddamn infrastructure. Make that shit work. But what the hell am I talking about? I guess that's okay. So I'm imagining King Kong now. I'm imagining King Kong holding Fay Ray. It's like, really? That's it? He's only that high up? Lame. Fucking lame. Yeah, and in fact, I just got some internet. Man, I'm gonna miss that back in Japan. You know, between South Korea and Taiwan, I've gotten pretty used to just like, hey, I wonder if there's internet around. Oh, there is. I'd guarantee if I was in Japan right now, in a random fucking place, there would be no internet. So yeah, I did look up the height. Let's just look up the height. 508 meters. And it's like, yeah, you know, again, whatever, fine. But as far as just the natural mountains around here, a 500-meter mountain would be a bit of a little baby mountain. Yeah, and the Burj Khalifa is 828. I mean, that's big. That's like as high as the peaks in Bukhansan were. That's pretty good. That's pretty impressive. But again, that's the biggest in the world. I'm probably offending engineers. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing what you've done engineering-wise, but yeah, you can't fight the natural world. 500 meters? Suck my dick, 500 meters. That's fucking nothing. A random average mountain is bigger than that. Anyway, that's a weird note to start the day off on. Let's get moving and stop complaining that buildings aren't big enough. All right, here's a test. Can I do a little podcast segment while I'm going up this hill? So unfortunately, I don't know the real name of Elephant Peak. It's sort of similar to the Lion's Head Peak down by Xindian Station. You know, there's a Chinese name that I did not learn. But luckily, that's no problem around here because there's elephant iconography everywhere. There are steps all the way up, just like there tends to be in Taipei. Oh, here's a observation deck. There's the 101. Yeah, now that I can see the 101 from the side, You know, I must be about 250 meters up because I'm halfway. I was gonna say, oh, it looks bigger from the side. But, yeah, there's another building next to it that is like 3/4 as big, and it's just some regular ass building. You know what I'm saying, dog? You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, still, same thing I said before. It's not bad, it's fine, it's pretty cool. But as one of the world's biggest, I wish I'd never known that. It makes it seem so much more, not the building, but human endeavor seems so much lamer in that context. But yeah, it makes sense that it's really busy here because this is right by a station, like just a 10-minute walk or something from the end station on the red line, Xiangshan. And it's a Sunday, and it's a beautiful day after rain. You know, again, rain on both ends. Rain yesterday, probably rain tomorrow. So there's a lot of people here. But it is a nice walk. It's nice and shady. I was actually kind of worried about that because with all the rain, the heat wave finally passed. There were even some days in my Airbnb at 3 a.m. with my fan on to keep the air circulation going, where I was like, should I turn off the fan? It's a touch chilly in here. I mean, to be fair, I'm sitting here in my underoos, but that's never happened before that I ever felt even slightly chilly. Ultimately, I did not turn off the fan. But yeah, now as soon as the rain's gone, back to heat wave warnings, 32 degrees, 34 degrees, I don't know, whatever it is, it's crazy. I was a little concerned I didn't put enough suntan lotion on the back of my neck. I was really feeling the burn of the sun. But now that I'm at the mountain, yeah, it's so shady. That's been very consistent in Taipei. Pretty much every mountain hike you can do, just the way the greenery grows around here is very shady. But it's a little weird having all these people here because it kind of regulates your pace. But that's, I don't know, I thought maybe that's a good thing because I like to go mega slow. Slow enough that I can record a podcast while I'm walking continuously upstairs. Keep me from getting blown up, keep my knee safe. So I would get behind, you know, like a dad with his son, and I'm like, perfect. Little teeny kid, I'll go at your pace. I do not mind going slow. I can't go too slow. And then they stopped, but I was like, you know, fair enough. It's a tiny child. What do you think's gonna happen? So then I got behind some ladies in like full burqa style stuff, and they're going nice and slow. And I was like, good enough, ladies. I'm behind you. Let's go slow. But then they stopped. And yeah, just now I'm passing somebody else. It's like I'm trying to go slow here. Maybe I'm not as slow as I thought I was. I'm trying to go slow and I keep passing people. But luckily, that's where being a gangly, long-legged toothpick is handy. Because yeah, I can just switch over to 2 steps at a time mode and just blip, blip, blip. See you later. But yeah, it is a little tricky regulating yourself when there's a constant line of people going up. I don't know, anyway, this is a nice walk and all. But I guess I'm a little surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be. Again, it's so accessible. The main mountain in the national park, it was like 100 times emptier than this, but it was a lot harder to get to. Had to take a bus and everything. This is right by the subway. Yeah, this seems cool though, because this is kind of on the edge of town. This is not that far from when I tried to head over this way at the big cemetery, and the intense heat turned me back. This does seem like it goes on and on and on for some time. This seems cool. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. So yeah, maybe if I get to this first elephant peak, maybe if I keep going from there, things will calm down a little. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I can technically talk while I'm going up these steps, but it's not pleasant. It doesn't feel good. So let's stop. All right, well, just what I was hoping would happen is what happened. As soon as I got past Elephant Peak proper, It cleared out like crazy. There's like 5% as many people, if not less. Nice and calm again, nice and uneventful. And Elephant Peak itself really passed by. I didn't even realize till I realized I was going down again. I'm like, oh, I guess that was it. I guess we passed it. Definitely did not stand out. So as far as just easy to get to hikes that are near subway stations, Xindian is, I think, a lot better. This one, if you were just to do Elephant Peak, I would say not really worth it. Not that great. There's lots of hikes. Lots of other hikes to do. But if you want to keep going, this seems pretty nice. So I'm at a nice opening, can see out. It's cool because, you know, the old Taipei 101, I'm glad that I just did that research right before I came up here of how tall it is. Because I'm almost 3/4 of the way up, probably not quite, 3/5 of the way up. So you can just tell how high up you are just by seeing it, just by looking out at the old tower. Will I get to the very top? I don't know. I don't know what's ahead of me. But yeah, there's all kinds of different paths and routes. So the one I am on, again, the amazing signposting in Taipei is fucking the best. Oh, how strange. I thought I pulled out my camera and took a really quick picture of just of the sign, just so if I had to know where I'm going, I would know for the various crossroads and stuff. But there'll be more crossroads and stuff. I'll take one at the next signpost. Because I guess I did it too fast. There's no picture on my phone. How did I do that? But yeah, it said it's 76 minutes to the next peak. So I'm like, perfect, you know, because this Elephant Peak doesn't even feel like it counts. So I just started. That's just like base camp, just the beginning. So whatever the next peak is, 76 minutes sounds perfect. Then from there, I'll see if there's another way back to loop around, or I'll just come back this way. But that seems just right. And yeah, like I said, nice and quiet now, way less people. And it's still these steps, like stone steps, the whole fucking way. It's kind of remarkable. I'm trying to think if I've ever been on just kind of a rough hewn trail. A little tiny bit, you know, little bits of trails sometimes. But not really. Everything is so mega developed in Taipei as far as hiking. It's probably good for the ecology and stuff too, because you just stay on the steps, you know, you just don't fuck with the rest of the mountain. But yeah, this is like incredible. I mean, I thought South Korea was well developed and had well signposted hiking paths, and it does. Like if I think back, the only times I really remember getting kind of lost, like Bukhansan was tough to figure out how to approach, because it's like a great big national park. There's tons of ways in. But the only time I really just kind of got off trail and like lost was in Zhejiang, which is a pretty obscure place to begin with. And then I was off on some relatively obscure peak and I followed the wrong little ribbon, you know? Like I had to go quite far out of my way to fuck shit up in South Korea. But I've never even managed to do that in Taipei. It's just like the easiest hike in the goddamn world. Just steps. And here's a nice big cannon style statue. The lady in the robes. That thing's pretty big. Pretty fucking big. I guess it's all relative, right? I'm complaining that the Taipei 101's not big enough. You know, this statue is probably 25 meters tall. Nothing compared to a 500-meter mountain, but as a statue, it's like, wow, impressive. Pretty big. Am I right, ladies? Whoa, 8 inches, so big. You know, it's all relative. It's all relative to the item in question. But yeah, the only thing that would make this better, I keep thinking back to this guy that I met in Vancouver when I was going up the Grouse Grind. The last time I did that, many years back, where I met a dude from India who had moved to Germany, who was visiting Vancouver because of his sister's wedding or something. And we became little buddies for the day on the way up. And he didn't have enough water. I gave him my water. I shared my water with him. And yeah, he was saying he was surprised there was nowhere to buy water because he was just used to mountains in Europe. And I don't know about India. He specifically said in Europe, but he said usually there's little, like, stands or something. Somewhere, someone will sell you some water. It'll be overpriced, but that option is there. That's the only thing that would make this more amazing, is if there were drinking machines. Maybe that would be, though. It might hurt the natural beauty. And there's not a ton of vending machines in Taiwan. It's pretty similar to the South Korea thing. Like, they pop up usually around transit stations, but it's not like Japan. Japan is the only place that I've been to where they're just everywhere. And they don't have drink machines on mountains either, except for rare occasions like the Aboriyama Katai observation deck. Man, yeah, this is so fucking nice, dude. This is so nice. And I still just can't get over how accessible and close everything is in Taipei. Like, this was, like I said, 10 minutes. 10 minutes from the fucking subway stop to get to the trailhead. And then even then, it took like maybe 20 minutes to shake off all of the people that were just going to Elephant Peak. And now I'm just walking through the goddamn woods, man. Amazing. Big looming mountain ahead of me. I feel like if I get to the top of that thing, which is presumably where I'm going, I predict I will be roughly at the height of the Taipei 101. Maybe a little below, but it seems like it'll be pretty close. And there is stuff like there's side steps, and there's a sign that is fully in Chinese. I could try to translate it and stuff, but there's always like the main route. It's very obvious what the main sidewalk is because it's double-sized. It's big enough for two people to walk. So I'm just going to stick with this. Who knows where the smaller stairways go? Maybe some like lookout spots. Maybe some little Buddha statues and stuff. But for my first time, and maybe the one time, just stick with the main route. It'll serve you well. Man, I mean, I'm already thinking ahead to when I get back to Canada. It'll be nice to go see my friends in Toronto. Between this year I've spent gallivanting around in Asia, and then the like 4 years of COVID before that, I have not seen them in some time. It's going to be nice. But my plan is just like, well, I guess I'll just start hitting up coffee shops more, and I'll really get back into like writing a novel mode. Because this type of thing will be gone. This does not exist in Toronto. It is impossible. This is just not an option. And it's just so cool that around here, not only is it an option, it is so fucking easy. It's criminal. It's insane how easy it is to get to these beautiful places. The Hexing Mine, 7 minutes that way. What is that? I don't know. Holy shit. I think I underestimated. So this is not the same mountain. I could have swore the mountain I was heading toward was T, but that must be the next one maybe. Because now we have Mount Muzhishan, Muzhishan, 22 minutes ahead, and it's 690 meters. It's significantly higher. But then there's also something called the U-shaped lookout. 16 minutes ahead, it's 510. So it's 2 meters higher than the Taipei 101. So yeah, it looks like my future is to go higher than the Taipei 101. This shit too, I mean, I know I've said it a million times, but I love it because I could never go up in the Taipei 101. I lived in Toronto for years. I never went up in the CN Tower. That's the kind of heights that just scare me so fucking bad. So fucking bad. I hate it. I just hate it. If you had my family at gunpoint, I guess I would do it, but I'd think about it. Like, the idea to me that people just spend money because it's fun to go up in towers, like, wow, I clearly have a phobia. But on these mountains, I can go higher than that. And it ain't no thing, man. Don't fucking matter at all. Man, I bet this would have been a good day, too, to go back to the main national park, the 1,100-foot mountain. Xiangshan? Don't quote me on that. I'm not going to look it up. But it's so clear out today. I bet from up there today, you could see all kinds of stuff. But that's fine. I'll just see all kinds of stuff from here. 700 meters, 1,100 meters. What's the fucking difference? It's in the sky. But yeah, this is This is fucking great. This is my fucking great. Wow, this got real steep, real steep. Still steps though, just steps going all the way up. I think this 700-meter peak, this may be the peak for the day. I probably don't need to proceed on to another peak after this. This is pretty good peak, pretty fucking good. But it's funny too, just how these words, you know, like Elephant Mountain, Lion Cub Mountain, Lion Head. That one had a bunch of names. I couldn't quite nail it down. It is funny that all these words that I can't read, you know, they're words. They all mean something. Where, you know, I've had this issue in Japan and Korea and here in Taiwan, that to me, to my ignorant ass, these words are all divorced from everything. They're all specific, individual words, you know? What's the word I'm looking for? Not boutique, not discreet. Well, whatever, you know, they're just individual sounds. But yeah, they all mean stuff that would be so much easier to remember if I knew. So for instance, this mountain I'm going up, I just passed a sign that, for some reason, one of the signs was in English, just one. And it called it Thumb Mountain. I'm going up Thumb Mountain. Which now that I think about it, that probably explains why it's so steep. 700 meters sticking up out of the ground like a thumb. I mean, it was only, I think it was 500 meters, that one by Okutama, that scared the shit out of me because it was also a thumb. So I guess we'll see how this feels at the top. But so far, it feels pretty good. There's a couple of parts where there was police tape and the side of the trail was crumbling a bit that were slightly scary. But generally not too bad. Oh, is this the top? I do see blue sky. But yeah, this also happened the other day with, so the Chuo line is the main line that I would always take to get from central Tokyo to western Tokyo. It goes through Tachikawa to Haijima. But I just thought of it as the Chuo line again, just divorced from all other things. Oh, cool, I can see the other side now. Not the Taipei 101 side. A different, farther, more obscure part of Taipei. So this is not the peak. And there's the 101 on the other side. But I was watching this YouTuber I like, this guy Nomad Push, who's a guy from Saipan, which I had never heard of before I started watching his channel. Very tiny island. But he lives in Japan, speaks Japanese, is functionally Japanese, travels around Japan, and just vlogs about it. And I find him delightful, Nomad Push. But he was in some random city down in southern Japan, and he said he was going to Chuo Station, and he said Chuo just means center, just means the central station. And that's when I realized, like, oh, so the Chuo line means the center line, which makes sense. It's not all that up north Saitama stuff. It's not down by the coast. It is in the center. You want to go from east to west in the center, you take the Chuo. And it's just like, wow, I had no idea. Geez, actually, I'm going steeply down. Maybe that was the peak. Wow, second peak in a row. Or it's like, okay, there's another peak though, not too far from here. So maybe it's like two side-by-side peaks. But yeah, these peaks are a little strangely, I mean, again, it's the journey, not the destination. That's fine. There's plenty of cool views. Who cares about the peak? But it's funny that these peaks are just passing me by and I'm barely realizing. Usually there's a plaque or something, or an elevation number. Whoa, there's a big ass spider. I haven't seen that many spiders lately. But yeah, Thumb Mountain, Elephant Mountain, Chuo Line, Abura Yama, Yama being the mountain. A touch of knowledge in any of these languages would definitely help. But that seemed like a bit of an overwhelming proposition just in Japan. Now that it's spread out to 3 separate languages, and maybe more as I travel to more places, it's like, hey, I think I'll just pick up what I pick up. There's there's a jogger. Man, that is hardcore jogging. But yeah, I mean, this is totally appropriate to jogging. Kind of more appropriate than when I was in the national park and someone was jogging there, because that whole area is so misty, slippery. Not this. This walkway is perfect. But yeah, I've also kind of realized what's going on now that I can gauge myself against a crowd with how my slowness is not slow enough. Is when I was at the beginning with all the crowds of people, there was another lanky white guy, so he was easy to keep track of because he was the only other lanky white guy. And yeah, he passed me, but then I passed him, and he passed me, and then I passed him, and eventually I just never saw him again. And it's because he kept stopping. You know, he's going real fast, but then stopping. And now, up here, no more lanky white guys. Well, I did pass actually a lanky white guy a little earlier coming back down. Actually, he was more of a hardy white guy with a big beard. Oh, here's a nice lookout. Perfect view of the 101. I've taken so many pictures of the stupid 101 today, but it's just, it's the thing. It's the thing that I keep seeing. But yeah, now that I'm up here with far fewer people, I don't need to just pick a white guy to gauge how fast I'm going compared to everyone else, because there's few enough people that I can just tell who's who. So a similar thing happened where I was at, I think it must have been the U-shaped lookout. It was a lookout that was vaguely U-shaped, and there were some people there who took off ahead of me, biggity bam. I was going at my turtle pace, and yeah, this is total tortoise in the hare stuff, because I was just going slow. But then we got to the next little rest area, and they were all there, you know, resting. So I passed them. I was like, all right. And then eventually they did pass me again. Now they're somewhere ahead of me. But yeah, I guess that's the difference, is that there's a lot of people going faster, but they stop. They keep stopping. And even the people that were going slower than me at the start, I also couldn't stay behind them because they stopped. They kept stopping. So I think that's the thing, is like I go mega slow. I'm all about it, nice and slow. I'm going up a 700 meter mountain. What's the goddamn hurry, you know? Take it nice and slow. But I don't stop, man. I just don't stop. So I really think this is the way to do it. God bless my bad knee for teaching me this technique. Because you still get there. Before you know it, it never takes that long to go up a mountain. It's a lot more comfortable on the body and the lungs and the knees and all the parts of the body. And yeah, you don't need to stop. You just keep going like the motherfucking Terminator. I stop if there's a view, and that's it. Other than that, I just don't stop. I'm not trying to yank my own dick here. I'm just saying that's how it is. And I've just started to realize on this trail specifically that, yeah, that's not how people do this. They push themselves too hard and then they stop. So yeah, just go slow, bros and sisses. Go fucking slow, and you don't even need to stop. You just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk and walk for all time. It's the shit. Man, people are annoying. So I got to the peak, the Thumb Mountain peak, and there was a sign, but some people were taking pictures with it. Got to take a picture with the sign. They were nice though. The guy gave me a nice grin and a nod, and I did see the number 7. So I'm like, all right, there it is. It's the 700 peak, which is interesting because yeah, that other place, I guess that was the 500 meter horseshoe-shaped, U-shaped observation deck I was at before. So it was at the exact height of the 101, but it looked below. And now I'm above it. I'm higher than it by about 200 meters, but I'm looking at it right now and I still feel like I'm lower down. That's I don't know, interesting phenomenon that maybe because, again, the prominence thing, just because it's a building, just standing straight up, and I'm on a relatively, you know, steep-ish, but it's still very gentle incline compared to the side of a building. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't look like I'm higher up than it, though the numbers tell me I am. But anyway, I got to another peak a little bit beyond, and it had a more proper plaque with, you know, the name and the elevation and stuff. And some fucking dude was standing exactly on it, deliberately just standing on it. All of his friends were standing around, but he decided to stand on the plaque. And it's like a little plaque that's not even flat to the ground, you know? It's like a little bit at an angle. It's not a comfortable place to stand. He's just being a dipshit who's not thinking about what he's doing. But that's fucking annoying as hell for everyone else who just wants to look at the stupid thing. And I'm sure not good for the plaque. Don't stand on the plaque, you dipshit. Anyway, I'm glad that the people have cleared out a lot compared to how it was at the start. But, you know, no surprises here. Same story as always. I'm just happier when there's not people around. You know, again, maybe Asia's not the place I should be then in that case. But there's so many places where there's just nobody around. This one, little busy. But anyway, still though, nothing special about these peaks. There's a lot of cool views as you go. But the peaks themselves, it's like the third peak in a row that I just kind of was like, whoops, I guess that was it. Not very notable, but a very nice walk in general. So I did see quite a few people going back the way I came, people that I recognized who haired on past me. But the trail does continue on forward, so I'm just going forward. I'm just going down some steps on the other side now. Who the heck knows where it'll spit me out? I have no idea. I was at the very end of the red line on the train, so this could potentially spit me out nowhere near transit. But should be no biggie. Worst case scenario, I'm sure I could find a bus, but probably I'm not that far away from civilization. I've been going very slowly up a mountain, so the actual distance I've traversed is probably not a ton. Still pretty early in the day too. What do we got here? The sun is still up. Only 3:30. Yeah, lots of time. Lots of time to walk back to civilization. And yeah, this has been great sun-wise, because yeah, I was getting blasted by that sun on the way here. This has still just been nice and shady the whole way. Just like perfect levels of greenery where it blocks the sun, but you still get lots of nice views of things all along. Just awesome, just nice. So yeah, that's definitely the findings for Elephant Peak and its surroundings, is that the peaks are not among my favorite peaks, but the walk itself is very nice. So easy to get to also. Whew, all of a sudden I got hungry too, now that maybe because I made it up and now I'm going down. My stomach woke up. It's like, hey buddy, I got some raisin bread. I got some raisin bread tucked away that it's called milky raisin bread. So I think that probably means that there is some kind of, you know, margarine-y type stuff, or maybe some kind of paste on the inside. I guess we'll see. Oh yeah, it was nice too at the peak. There were some squat toilets. That's nice because I do have a coffee with me along with my water, but I've been drinking it very, very carefully because I don't think there'd be a lot of options for peeing in the woods around here. Not only because there's tons of people everywhere, but it's quite a narrow mountain ridge. This actually reminded me a bit of some of those mountains in Seoul. Though this again is so much more developed. I mean, it's like stairs and guardrails the whole way. And there's a view of the city that does not involve horrifying smog. At least not today. But yeah, I think if I did wander off the trail in an attempt to pee, yeah, I feel like people would see me. And there's a good chance I would tumble to my doom. But there is a bathroom up at the top. What better reward could there possibly be than a nice washroom? Man, yeah, I'm thinking of some of those mountains in Seoul. They were really cool. I don't remember any of the names anymore. But the ones that are more in the city before Bukhansan, where you would walk up onto a ridge like this, but there were parts where you're just kind of walking out across bare rock. And it's all windy and it's, I don't know. I'm surprised I wasn't more scared by that. It was a little eerie though. Oh, I'm glad I kept going. This view is fucking good. Ooh, doggy. Now I'm finally at the point where the 101 is just over to my left. And I can see way over to the right. Man, Taipei is so cool. It's like, there it is, man. There's the whole goddamn place. Oh, geez, maybe not. I'm looking at the national park. The clouds are totally covering the mountaintops. Maybe you still couldn't see anything up there today. And then there's my alternative plan in handling way over to the left. Damn, dog, that's a pretty view. That is a pretty fucking view. So I guess that's the thing is Thumb Mountain, keep going. There's a much, much better view 10 minutes past the peak. The peak is not the peak. Man, this walk just keeps getting prettier and prettier. Oh, here's one of these, there's been a few of these on the way. One of these little encampments set up, so I assume, it's an all-purpose shelter, but I assume it's probably mainly for rain, because there's so much rain around here if you were stuck on the mountain during rain. But there's some guys in there playing cards or something, or, some manner of local game. Guys swinging, playing some radio, or just some music. Yeah, it's really beautiful out here, and I just passed a little tiny shrine. And it was cool because there was like incense set up and a big incense burner, which you don't see in the mountains a lot, I think because of the danger of burning the whole forest down. But there's enough people passing by here that it seemed like no problem. And it's just cool. It's nice to just stand there and smell some incense in the air and just look out at mountains rolling off into the distance. Even though I'm not a religious guy and I don't know anything about the actual religious observances and such, it still just feels cool. I don't know, I felt like it reminded me of Christmas, You just have those feelings in the air and that sense of stuff. Not Christmas like last Christmas when I just complained about how much Christmas sucks. The good version of Christmas when you're at home and everyone's there and yada yada. It was cozy. It was cozy feeling. Smelling some incense on the mountain and looking out at all this stuff. It's like if you just saw out of my eyes in that one moment, you'd be like, wow, what an adventure. Who would have thought Keith would grow up to be such an adventurer, even though I'm on a fully developed stone path, not very far from a subway station with people walking by. I'm the furthest thing from an adventurer, but it feels cool and like an adventure. And there were a few little offerings there. I thought maybe I could sort of tie a little bow on that. That wasn't a very consistent through line of being in Taiwan. Of like I saw an early shrine that just had a bottle of rice as an offering. And I guess I've seen a fair number of shrines, but a lot of them are in the city, not a ton out in the wilds. And yeah, they just don't have a lot of offering stuff, but they do have a little bit. So like this one had, I think it was a pear, but I'm not totally sure. Yuzu has taught me that I don't know all the fruits and vegetables. And then there were 2 or 3 little candies. So yeah, little bits of that stuff. And when I looked it up, they did say that people do leave offerings in a similar style to Japan, but it just is definitely not as prevalent. I haven't seen it even close to as much, and even when I do, it's just little bits of stuff. Very light levels of offerings of random items. But a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, the milky raisin bread, by the way, was just raisin bread. Perfect, though, for this. Just what I needed. Get some nice white bread with some raisins in it in my belly. Maybe that's what milky means. Maybe it just means white bread, but white bread's not exactly rare around these parts. There's a ton of white bread. Oh, one thing I found the other day, though, that I liked, it was a flattened croissant. It was like this croissant with like a bunch of seeds and stuff in it, like kind of a fancy pants croissant, but then they flattened it. They like crushed it down to make it flat and covered half of it in chocolate. And then they sell it at the Family Mart. And it's really good. I don't know, it's kind of cool because especially since it is just, you know, bakery from a package, it's not brand new. A brand new croissant you'd probably prefer to be in croissant shape, but this kind of brings it almost more in line with like a cookie sort of. And I was like, this is pretty good. This is kind of neat. I've never had a deliberately flattened croissant before. So there's still lots of little side routes and side paths, and they seem to go to little various outlooks and smaller shrines and stuff. But I'm just taking the main route. It's taking me to the CUST trail entrance. I don't know what CUST means. It's all in caps. And it seems like it's going to be a while. It's a bit of a ways, but there's signs popping up that have got the nice, bilingual Chinese and English with the times and the distances. So I'm just a moseying that way. And then I guess we'll see. We'll see once I get there how far I am from the subway. But yeah, this is mighty nice, man. Mighty nice. I should just stop. That's all I have to say about this, just that it's nice. But it sure is nice. Oh man, and I saw, I think maybe the biggest spider I've ever seen in my whole goddamn life. Again, I'm not sure if it's a Joro spider, it might be. But I was seeing its underbelly, so I couldn't see if it had the yellow. But yeah, it's so fucking big. I mean, I guess that's what happens when it's just hot all the time. Mother Nature's like, just keep growing, son. Just keep growing. You don't need to stop. You don't need to hibernate. You don't need to chill out. You don't need to slow down. Just keep growing. Take over the earth. Attack of the Taipei 101 size spider. I wonder. I should look up, I mean, now that I'm getting a much better sense for the height of stuff. Like, I really was all muddled in my mind because Canadians, you know, were mixed up between metric and imperial. So sometimes I'd see things in miles, sometimes kilometers, sometimes feet, sometimes meters. Now that I've been outside of North America, it's like finally putting my foot down. I'm learning just metric. So I have a much better sense of heights and distances now. I gotta go look up some dinosaur heights because I don't really know. Again, I just saw muddles of different numbers and different systems, and I don't know how big fucking dinosaurs were. But is it gonna be similar? I bet it will be to what I thought about that building. Because I bet I'm gonna be like, that's how big dinosaurs were? They're so tiny. They're so little. Little tiny dinosaurs. Why, if a dinosaur tromped out of the fucking trees right now, I bet I would barely even shit myself. I bet I would barely even die with shit squirting out of my asshole and vomit spraying out of my mouth. I would barely even be scared to fuck. That's my assertion, and I'm standing by it. Man, this just gets prettier and prettier. So now I'm deeper into the jungle proper. No more views of the city. Now it's just full Jumanji. I'm just walking along a nice little stream, but there's still people passing here and again. Still a stone walkway the entire way. It's 4:30. I'm starting to get that feeling. I mean, it's a little extra dark because now I'm deeper in like a valley. Getting that feeling of the sun going down, you know. This is definitely the vibes now, are like, start heading to not here. The hell was that? But yeah, start getting going where you're going. but it should all time out pretty good. And I pulled out my phone. I was like, let's see if my little blue dot will work, because it's sometimes it just doesn't want to kick in Taiwan. But yeah, no, it popped right up. And good news, where I thought of myself as being at the edge, because I'm at the edge of the red line when I started this little hike. And when I did this last time, I did just end up at that cemetery with endless rolling hills off into infinity. But because I'm going east and just a little bit north, gradually north, luckily the brown line and apparently the blue line, I don't even know what that is, I've never been on the blue line, but they both converge much farther east than the red line. So I am at the end of the red line, but not at the end of all the lines. Because that would have been a significant walk back, which again, whatever. Once I'm in the city proper, streetlights and stuff, it'd be no problem. But now it looks like it'll be a significantly shorter walk to the good old brown line. Perfect. This is all gonna work out perfect, which just makes this walk even better. Yeah, even though it's not the king of peaks and views, fully recommend this walk. It is good. It is very good. Start at Elephant Peak. Make your way through to the CUST entrance. If you just want to be ensconced in beauty. This is nice too, because there really has been a lot of me staying inside lately. Just a lot of rain, and possibly more coming up. I kind of missed this where, I mean, nothing quite reaches the mania levels of getting back to Japan and just every fucking day, I gotta go find a thing to do. Things have been significantly more relaxed in South Korea and Taiwan. But still, there's plenty of strings of days where I would just go out and do a hike like every fucking day. Many times a week. Feels like it's been, what is the last thing that I even did? I talked about my shoes turning into pee. Oh, there's the picture. Okay, that picture I couldn't find earlier. Jiwoo Peak. Jiwwu. That's Thumb Peak. So I did it. I did do it. That's good. It makes more sense that I just somehow couldn't sort through my own pictures. Makes a lot more sense than I just somehow failed to take a picture. Oh, the Queen's Head, of course. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that I just had to look through pictures to remind myself about my own life. The Queen's Head was very cool, but that was sitting on a bus going to the shore, not a mountain hike. Feels like it's been a while since I've done this. And I fucking missed it. It's so good. The Queen's Head is not long for this world, by the way. It seems that it's eroding very fucking fast, like at a rate of a couple of centimeters a year, which that is going to add up very quick. No wonder they got the Princess Rock, as the successor. Because Queen's Head, I'm glad I got to see you from the improper side angle. Because you are going down, my friend. You are going the fuck down. Which I guess, it was windy as hell when I was out there, and it is like it juts way out into the ocean. I guess that's the point, right? That's how all that stuff evolved in the first place, is erosion. But because of that erody environment, that erosion ain't stopping. You have to put a fucking dome over that place or it is all disappearing. I passed quite a few people that just have music playing. It's kind of nice. Get a little bit of music here and there. All right, well, this has all turned out pretty good. So I got to the trailhead entrance, and there's like a river, one of these rivers where it's like concrete banks, like an inner city river, but a river that is winding along and should take me almost all the way to the brown line. And it's still just people walking around. These are just the people on their Sunday stroll that are a little less adventurous than the people who went up into the mountains. But yeah, just walking through like universities here, and there's just people walking around and playgrounds, and it's just nice. The sun is definitely dipped pretty low now. It's behind The buildings around here are pretty small, but the sun is still behind them, so I didn't have a ton of time left. The shrinking days are definitely upon me. Oh wow, here's a street that's lined with palm trees on both sides. Or a palm tree equivalent that I don't know the name of. Delightful, and I'm getting pretty tuckered. It was quite a walk through the old mountains. I mean, I guess I did go up 700 meters, not bad. It still kind of boggles my mind that the peaks, unless I'm wrong, I mean, maybe deeper in to Bukhansan and Seoul, maybe some of them are higher, but in my memory, it's like about 800 meters is, I believe, what those peaks were. And I could never really do it. Too steep, too scary, too tough. Whereas as long as things are only medium steep, like they were today, do 700 standing on my head. Not a problem. But it does take the energy out of a soul. So yeah, this is pretty perfect. Just strolling along, all sweaty and gross. Go get on a train. The blast of air conditioning will hit all this sweat. It is pretty great that even though I way overpaid for deodorant on Jeju, it is really powerful. You know, they only had one kind of deodorant, one Nivea deodorant, take it or leave it, and it's like double power. Like it just smells like laundry, it just smells like soap, but like double the scent of a normal North American. I mean, I think North American deodorant, we kind of tend to not want it to be scented generally. But it's the right thing to have around here. You know, it might be a little much in North America, where I'd say generally North America is relatively scentless, you know, perfume and cologne and stuff. It's not that people don't use it, but I don't know, if somebody's really using a lot, there's a good chance that they ain't from around here, you know, they're visiting or something. But around here, since I'm a sweat pig on these hot days going on hikes, and it's just extra awkward because I'm the only one, you know? Whatever subway car I'm on today, I will probably be the only guy who has to worry about the bacteria under my arms smelling bad. Everybody else doesn't have that issue. So I'm glad to have the mega powered, super scented South Korean deodorant, because I just don't want to take that risk, man. I don't want to be that guy. I'm sure to some degree I'm still that guy, but you know, this is my best chance of redemption, or of personal solace, that I can stand on a semi-crowded train car and just not feel like I'm ruining everyone's life. Whew. But yeah, that feels like that was the perfect length. Maybe it is all this sitting around, waiting out the rain. Maybe I've lost half a step because I'm surprisingly tuckered out feeling today. Oh well, death's coming for us all. This little river is very fucking nice. That's the word of the day. What a nice day. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time. Whoopsie doodle, episode's not over. Thought it was, but as I was walking along this river, there was 3 people, a dude and 2 ladies, that were concerned about something. I couldn't tell what. And then as I walked by, big ass fucking turtle just walking along this sidewalk. And I don't think the turtle is like a pet, because I definitely saw that at least once in South Korea. Somebody with turtle as a pet. I believe the flaneurs back in the day used to do shit like that too. The fancy pants. I mean, that's what I am. I'm a fucking flaneur, just someone who has the resources to just walk around all day and observe. But this was a thing back in like Victorian England, that the bullshit, you know, aristocratic layabouts of the day would just walk around these towns. And apparently some of them had flamboyant pets, such as turtles on strings and stuff. But I believe what was going on in this case is I think they were protecting the turtle to try to get it away from people and stuff, because there's like a big park here. You know, there's cars parked, there's not a lot of traffic, but it does seem like the turtle's probably shouldn't be here. I don't know though. I feel like there's a long ways to go. I don't know where they're trying to shepherd him to, but I don't see anywhere even remotely close around here where a turtle feels like it should be. But I think that's what they were doing. They're kind of protecting and trying to help the turtle. Because I got to admit, if I just saw a turtle, I'd go over and take a picture. Probably not a big deal, but I mean, that's I probably would partake in that level of harassment. And if everybody did that, probably pretty annoying. So they're probably doing the right thing. They kept me from going anywhere near Mr. Turtle. I would be so ashamed to go try to take a picture of the turtle around them. I really wanted a picture though. It's a big fucking turtle. Like, how big? Bigger than a frisbee. Bigger than a dinner plate. Like, it's big. Big fucking turtle. So yeah, there we go. Oh, and there's Siphon, S-I-F-E-N, Riverside Park. Is that the name of the river? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that was unexpected. Turtle time, turtle power. Good luck, Mr. Turtle. I hope those people help get you wherever you're supposed to be. But like I said, I don't know where that is because this river, it's just concrete banks and stuff. I don't know if you really want to be down there. Huh. Anyway, cheers to you, Mr. Turtle. Good luck.